While the victim is talking to police, a hotel employee walks up, showing officers a picture of the suspect. You'll hear another officer learn this was about more than just a few $100.
So how much you think you got from your loan?
At least 10.
10,000?
Welcome to another episode of J Inclusive. Please share, like, comment, subscribe, and set your notifications on so you are alerted every time I upload.
Recent armed robbery is serving as a very sharp reminder of the dangers that can come with meeting strangers on dating apps.
Atlanta police arrested this man, Randarius Jackson, outside of Lenox Square Mall just moments after they say he robbed a man at gunpoint at a hotel near the airport. 11 Live's Cody Alcorn live from Lenox Square Mall in Buckhead with a closer look at the body camera video of this arrest here, Cody.
Yeah, Jennifer and Ron, this victim's misfortune highlights how quickly a meetup off a dating app can turn from what's meant to be a good time to a very dangerous situation. For this man, it was a costly mistake.
I'll be walking in off the side street over here.
On September 29th, Atlanta police responded to the Renaissance Concourse Atlanta Airport Hotel, where an officer met with the general manager.
I was dispatched to the 10th floor saying that a guest was robbed.
On the 10th floor, another officer explains the situation.
He met him on a dating site. Okay. Ubered me.
Police say once inside the victim's room, this guy pulled a gun, disabled the room's phone, and robbed him. The victim describing the crime.
Maybe get on Cash App and Apple Pay. Just keep sending it to my car, starting to decline it. We took the cars, trying to go get something robbed.
While the victim is talking to police, a hotel employee walks up, showing officers a picture of the suspect. You'll hear another officer learn this was about more than just a few $100.
So how much you think you got from your loan?
At least 10.
10,000?
That's him? That's him.
Now, with the picture, they use technology to track the suspect. Remember, he showed up in an Uber. And later the same day, they found him at Lenox Mall. This is what happened next.
Hey, calm down.
Fortunately, the suspect was caught and the victim was not hurt. But it's still unclear if there are other victims. Dr. Trina Orchard says while this may be uncomfortable, always report it.
Reporting something to the police is probably the last thing on people's things I want to do today list. It's such a low form of making a buck, that's for sure. And it is on the rise, though, which is why documenting this and reporting it is so important. The rise of the swindle culture and stuff like that does sort of feed into and offer yet another platform for sneaky people to exploit us.
Dr. Orchard, along with about every other expert, says the best thing to do is trust your instincts if this is something you are going to participate in. And as we have seen in the past, Ron and Jennifer, while it cost this man thousands of dollars, in some cases here in Metro Atlanta and across the country, it has cost people their lives.
Only on Local 10 tonight, we're seeing new video of an accused killer.
Police say he's connected to at least 2 brutal murders just months apart. Local 10's Christian De La Rosa is live in Miami Beach, where one of those killings happened. Christian.
And this area behind me, an apartment building along Pennsylvania Avenue, this is where we are seeing new video from this area that detectives believe connects this man to at least one of these savage murders. New video evidence coming to light showing who detectives say is a confessed brutal murderer. Police say this is Zolt Zoliami near the scene where one of his 2 suspected victims was found gruesomely killed. Officials believe this is the 26-year-old outside the Miami Beach apartment building on Pennsylvania Avenue the night before 66-year-old Carlos Villaquiran was found face down in 6 inches of bathtub water, strangled to death. Zoliami first seen at 11:08, dressed in black with a ball cap going back and forth. About 20 minutes later, smoking a cigarette. 15 minutes passed. We see the man in the video opening up a dumpster and appearing to drop something in it. Months later, his second suspected victim in Little Havana, Rodolfo Fernandez de Velasco, was found dead in the driver's seat of his crashed car. also strangled, both front seat belts wrapped around his neck. Police say Zoliame is recorded walking out of the vehicle and leaving the scene before officers arrived. Investigators say both victims were older, gay, and disabled.
He is the epitome of evil. He hunts his prey, and he's patient with his prey, and then he kills them.
Zoliame is from Hungary and was in the country illegally at the time of the murders after overstaying his visa. He was arrested February 19th for the murders of the two men, and while he was put on an immigration hold, he has not been deported. Jail records show he is still behind bars in Miami-Dade on no bond, waiting for his next day in court scheduled for May.
There is probable cause for second-degree murder for each case.
And here's the thing, if this man is convicted as an undocumented immigrant, he could fall under one of Florida's new laws, which would automatically impose the death sentence on any illegal immigrant convicted of a crime like murder.
He said at first the guy was very nice to him, and that's why he was surprised when everything just turned ugly.
New information from Holden White's mother about her son's stabbing as the FBI gets involved in the case that family members want classified as a hate crime. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, Lafayette police say they are continuing to investigate, and after consulting with the district attorney's office, they say it is a possibility that the suspect in this case could be facing additional charges.
3's on the Street tonight. Our Katie Easter joining us live outside the Lafayette Police Department after talking to Holden White's family today. Katie.
Well, I spoke to the mother of 18-year-old Holden White earlier, and she says Holden is now awake and talking, but he may or he will likely suffer from long-term effects from the stabbing.
ICU unit, I could not ask for better care. Very nice people. They're great at their job.
Rayette Gaspard says her son Holden White is still in the hospital, but is now off the ventilator and feeding tubes. She says he is also talking.
From the strangulation, it's very weak. The voice is very weak, but he's getting stronger each day, which is a blessing.
Gaspard says when her son gained consciousness, he wasn't sure what happened.
He kind of remembers bits and pieces. I was hoping he wouldn't remember any of it.
The long-term effects of White's injuries are unknown.
He's upset with his hands and his, they unbandaged his arms, and he said, Mommy said, I can't use my arms and I won't be able to for a very long time. And I said, it's gonna be okay through physical therapy, have good doctors, and you should be okay.
The suspect in the case, 19-year-old Chance Seneca, is charged with attempted second-degree murder. The family is worried he'll be able to post bond.
My fear is that he goes back to finish what he started with my son. That's my fear.
The family is hoping the FBI joining the case will lead to hate crime charges.
So it's scary because he's fantasized about this for a long time, to my understanding, and he just followed through. Due to my son's small stature, he was targeted because he knew he could overcome.
This is KLFY News 10 at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. A Lafayette man who lured a gay man to a secluded home and tortured him until he nearly died pled guilty to kidnapping this week.
In exchange for that guilty kidnapping plea, several other charges, federal charges at that, were dismissed, including hate crime with attempt to kill and additional kidnapping charges. 21-year-old Chance Seneca is still facing state charges of attempted first-degree murder and committing a hate crime. News 10's Britt LaFaso spoke with Seneca's alleged victim about his feelings on the plea deal.
Holden White says the assault happened on June of 2020. Seneca, who he'd met on a gay dating app, invited him over for a video game date. White would leave that date bloodied, stabbed, and barely alive.
When they arrived, I was in the bathtub naked with multiple stab wounds and strangulation marks around my neck and a big thing in the back of my head from him bashing it with a hammer.
Holden White says shortly after he arrived at Chance Seneca's home, Seneca strangled him with a belt. Nearly every blood vessel in his face ruptured. White says Seneca then threw him in a bathtub, stabbed him in the neck with an ice pick 6 times, and attempted to dismember him by sawing his wrist down to the bone using a Bower's knife. White says Seneca then called 911 admitting he had killed a man. White, however, was alive.
Everyone in the courtroom looked at me except for him. If that doesn't say anything about guilty.
This week, White faced Seneca for the first time again since that day.
At the courthouse, when he was speaking, it kind of sounded like he had sadness in his voice, like he was like crying a little.
Seneca pled guilty to a federal kidnapping charge as part of the plea deal. That deal meant other charges, including hate crime with attempt to kill, were dismissed.
So when I first heard of this plea agreement, I was genuinely upset. It's honestly like one of the first times that I have cried about my case.
Look at you walking. White says he feels strongly this was a hate crime, as Seneca had allegedly said he hunted for his victims on GRINDR, a gay dating app.
It was just upsetting because I have seen multiple instances where minorities have been failed by the government. And in that moment, I felt as though I was starting to become one of them.
While Seneca's federal hate crime was dismissed, he still faces state charges of attempted second-degree murder and committing a hate crime. White says justice to him would be Seneca serving life in prison. As for himself, White says he's moving on.
It's okay to be upset. It's okay to feel like you've been knocked down, but you must get back up, because if you stay knocked down, you'll never get back up.
Seneca's sentencing will be in Lafayette on January 25th.
First to breaking news tonight, a deeply disturbing case out of St. Pete this evening. Investigators are looking for the body of 16-year-old Miranda Corsett. And you're watching 10 Tampa Bay at 6. I'm Dave Wagner.
And I'm Courtney Robinson. All new tonight, just into the newsroom. We have new information about Stephen Gress. He is now charged with the murder of Miranda Corsett. They say that he lured Miranda through a dating app, and they're also looking for the woman that you see right here on your screen, Michelle Brandis, who could be connected to Miranda's death. 10 Tampa Bay's Asha Patel is staying on top of the very latest developments tonight.
She joins us live from outside Gress's home, where police say Miranda was killed. Asha?
Yeah, that's right. This home that you see right behind me, police say this is where 16-year-old Miranda Corsett was brutally beaten to death over a missing ring. Now, just moments ago, cops left, but we had been seeing them, but we did see them for the last several hours going in and out of the home. So let me give you a little timeline here. After Miranda was brutally beaten to death at this home, Stephen Gress then drove her body to a home in Largo. It was in that home where cops say Miranda's body was dismembered. Her remains then taken to a dumpster in Ruskin. Detectives say they located that dumpster, but tonight are still looking for Miranda's remains. Cops believe Miranda was killed sometime between February 20th and 24th. Stephen Gress was arrested a few days ago on unrelated charges, including pointing a harpoon at his partner, Michelle Brandis, and now he's being charged with first-degree murder. Tonight, police are also looking for Brandis because they believe she was present while Gress was driving Miranda's body. We spoke to neighbors nearby who told us they felt uneasy living next door to Gress.
There was a lot of fighting always going on. Our landlord installed ring cameras for us, which we're very thankful for. That brought us a sense of safety, but definitely feeling safer now that he's off the streets. He was an intimidating fellow.
As for Brandis, the chief has a strong message for her tonight. Turn yourself in.
Investigators confirmed Michelle Brandis turned herself into St. Petersburg police this morning. Brandis and Stephen Gress are both suspected of kidnapping, killing, and dismembering 16-year-old Miranda Corsett. Officers say the two used a social media app to lure the teen to their home. Now, Gress had his first appearance before a Pinellas County judge this morning. The judge ordered him held without bond and assigned him a public defender. While getting instructions on next steps, Gress spoke out in court implicating his domestic partner.
We're here. I told you yesterday.
Don't say anything.
Where's Michelle Brandis?
Talk to your lawyer. Talk to your lawyer.
Thank you, everybody. Where's Michelle Brandis at?
Again, Brandis turned herself in shortly after this first appearance. She and Gress both face a first-degree murder charge. Gress also faces a kidnapping charge. Investigators are still trying to find Miranda Corsetti's body.
And now we're learning police visited their home just one day after the teen was reported missing. The couple's landlord told 10 Tampa Bay he called police after getting a text from Gress saying someone suffered a bodily injury in the home, but everything was, quote, cool. Tonight, St. Pete police confirmed to 10 Tampa Bay officers did visit the house on February 25th. That's just 5 days after investigators believe Corset was first beaten at the property. Officers say their hands were tied because nobody was home at the time. Today, officers confirmed her body was incinerated. They say items from the dumpster where her remains were thrown already went to a waste facility.
The family of a murdered Pinellas County teenager is suing the dating app GRINDR, claiming it failed to keep minors like their daughter safe. Now, a Florida-based consumer law attorney is questioning why stronger safeguards were not already in place. News Channel 8's Georgia MacArthur joins us live with details from that lawsuit. Georgia.
Paolo, let's just say Miranda Corset, she was just 16 years old, police say, when she was tortured and killed by an adult she met online. Her family outlining in a lawsuit, they're blaming the app due to its lack of security features by not allowing a proper age verification, they say, led to her meeting the adult online. 16-year-old Miranda Corset was a Gulfport teen murdered in a brutal attack. Authorities say she met her accused killer, 37-year-old Stephen Gress, and his alleged accomplice, 35-year-old Michelle Vega, on GRINDR, a dating app that uses precise location tracking and doesn't require users to prove their age.
So, unfortunately, again, we had a massive lapse in our state for protecting minors and other consumers from this type of activity.
Her family is now suing the company, saying it failed to keep minors off the platform and allowed her to be targeted. While GRINDR hasn't responded to the suit, legal experts say the case raises questions about the platform's responsibility.
Of course, it's the plaintiff's position that they can be. And so, of course, it's going to be GRINDR's position that it's the responsibility of the person that ultimately murdered the decedent.
Zachary Zermay is a Florida consumer law attorney not involved in the case. He says the family may face an uphill legal battle in this state.
And Florida is a particular bad place to bring a lawsuit like this because of those protections that are located in other states simply are not there.
Florida does have digital safety laws, but Zermay says they're nearly impossible for families to use.
I'm certain that the argument of the plaintiff's attorneys are going to be making is, well, why didn't they simply require the users to verify their identity using a driver's license or passport, which in my opinion, that would be reasonable.
And Zermay says while the case may be difficult, it could spark change.
If one thing that can be taken as a result of this tragedy, it should result in a change to the current structure because, again, this simply is not working.
And the lawsuit alleges 9 counts against GRINDR that include negligence, wrongful death, and sex trafficking. We did reach out to GRINDR and they did not respond to our request for comment.
ABC's Andrew Dembert has the details.
This morning, concerns about a disturbing trend as more people turn to dating apps to find love in the new year. Police say teenagers, inspired by a scheme on TikTok, are luring victims through dating apps to then frame them as sexual predators, all to mimic the TV show To Catch a Predator.
Then why did you come here?
The latest case in Massachusetts, where 5 students at Assumption University face kidnapping charges. Authorities say one of the teens used Tinder to lure a 22-year-old man to campus, then led him to a lounge where nearly 30 students ambushed him, accusing him of being a sexual predator. The group allegedly tried to stop him from leaving, chasing him to his car and assaulting him with a car door.
I've seen on social media like all kinds of stuff like that, but I would never imagine that something happening right here at my school.
Police say there's no evidence the man was looking for underage girls. In a similar case, 11 teenagers near Chicago allegedly used a gay dating app to lure men to different locations before allegedly beating them and damaging their cars. One victim needed treatment at the hospital. Police say the teens got the idea from the same To Catch a Predator trend on TikTok.
This is a worldwide phenomenon, using these dating apps to lie in wait for people and unfortunately attack them.
As for the victim in Massachusetts, his family says he's serving in the Army and was deployed overseas days after escaping that ambush.
I do want to recognize Beth Hyland.
From intimate moments to the halls of Congress.
She is a survivor of this heinous crime. She drove 9 hours to be here.
It's not exactly the path Beth Hyland saw herself taking. She got divorced in 2019. 4 years later, she thought,
maybe it was time to start dating again. So I thought I'd try it.
Beth never used dating apps before. But two people at work met their significant others online.
And then one day in October, I matched with a man that I found incredibly attractive, and his profile was similar to mine.
You thought you were in love?
I thought I was in love. We were going to get married. I was looking at houses. I was sending him engagement rings.
But this man in the photo wasn't actually who Beth was chatting with. She just didn't know it at the time. Then, after several weeks, he suddenly had a problem.
He asked if I would try to transfer the money, if I would log in, and I did.
Pretty soon, Beth took out loans for $26,000 and transferred the money using Bitcoin.
I mean, why wouldn't I help my fiance if I knew the money was coming back?
But the money never came back. So Beth went to her financial advisor.
Fortunately, he's trained in romance fraud. And I said, he's like, Beth, I hate to be the one to tell you this. I think you're in a romance scam. The first thing I said is, I am so embarrassed. And he's the one that said, don't be. You would be surprised at how much this happens.
It happens so often that it's finally getting the attention of the federal government. And that's what brings Beth to Washington.
People reached out to me to say, please look at this. This is what happened to my relative.
A bipartisan bill would require dating apps and social media companies to issue notifications to users who interact with accounts that have been banned or flagged for fraud. Government agencies issuing bulletins warning Americans, specifically seniors.
The social media companies have proven through the years that they will not do this on their own. Their lack of desire to protect individuals on their platforms is disgusting.
The FBI saying it's cost victims billions of dollars over the years, and so much goes unreported.
I still get together with my family and we go, did that really happen?
April Helm's life purpose now is unlike what she ever imagined.
On this episode of Scammer Stories,
the Tulsa-based journalist started a podcast dedicated to victims of scams.
A quick update on where I stand on my good days and bad days after my mom's scam.
There's two versions of my mother. The version of my mother from before the scam was loving, my best friend. After the scam, I was a horrible daughter.
Her mother, a widowed cancer survivor, fell in love online.
She got a picture from a young man about 40 years old, really attractive, and she said she met someone online, and I could tell that it was a scam instantly.
April even did a reverse image search, and it came up as a commonly used image scammers use. But her mom didn't believe her.
She put her hands on her head and said, don't burst my bubble, don't burst my bubble. I said, please, just don't spend any money. She said, no, that's your kid's money. I would never do that.
But in the end, she says her 70-year-old mother was scammed out of more than $350,000. She lost her home, her car, and eventually her life after falling out of bed.
Scammers try to keep you delirious. You're not thinking clearly and you make bad decisions.
And now, with emerging AI technology making it even harder to catch scammers, what can the government actually do?
America's behind in taking care of our own people.
April is skeptical, but hopeful that with more exposure, the country can break up with romance scams for good.